The expectation for Alabama starting quarterback in 2025 is off the charts, but maybe we should relax a little bit. I'm going to tell you why. Stick around. This is Way Offsides. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. You know the drill. Whatever the case may be, whenever you're watching this, welcome to Way Offsides, your favorite Alabama sports channel. Everything Alabama that you need. We just do it a little different around these here parts. The talk all offseason has been heavily around Alabama's quarterback room. Who's going to be the starting quarterback? It is looking like we finally kind of have a good feel for who it's going to be, what's going to happen. It's looking like Ty Simpson's the guy, right? It's looking like it's going to be Simpson. Alabama has three capable guys in their quarterback room in Ty Simpson, Mac, and Keelan Russell. I think given the seniority and obviously comments made by Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb that if the season were to start today, it would be Ty Simpson's show to run. I think the safe bet is that Ty Simpson will be the starting quarterback when Alabama goes to Tallahassee to start the season for that really, really hot 3:30 Eastern time kickoff. Now, with being the quarterback at a school like the University of Alabama, there comes grandeur. There comes lofty expectations. You are literally the big man on campus. There have been Alabama quarterbacks in the past who haven't been able to take classes in person just because it's too much of a distraction. This is probably common at a few places. But those expectations, a lot of times, those lofty, even sometimes unrealistic expectations, sometimes they're our fault. Sometimes they're the fault of the fan or the media. And I want to temper our expectations a little bit around Ty Simpson. This video is going to be just based on the premise that Ty Simpson will be at least the guy who starts, maybe not the guy who finishes the season, but why we should temper our expectations. I think that we as Alabama fans kind of see the writing on the wall. It feels like we've been here before with the Mac Jones situation, right? Well, I think we have to be careful with that. I was watching Cover Crimson with Clint Lamb. I was in the chat there a couple of weeks ago, and I made this point that it is actually kind of dangerous for us to make that comparison. It's not fair for Ty Simpson because although Alabama's wide receiving room is going to be one of the best in the country, the wide receiving room that Mac Jones walked into, that situation was golden. He was set up for success. I'm not saying that this new staff hasn't done that for Ty Simpson, but two entirely different squads in the sense of what you're going to see offensively on the field. Now, Ty Simpson's going to have plenty of weapons, but if we expect him to go out and do what Mac Jones did in 2020 during the COVID year, I think that we are setting ourselves up and our starting quarterback up for failure. Why is that a problem? It's a problem first for the fan base because Alabama fans right now, you sit on two sides of the fence. There's not a lot of in between. If you're on X, it displays itself during the season very well. Alabama fans are either ride or die with whoever's the starting quarterback, or the minute that quarterback makes a mistake, they want him pulled. You know, the armchair quarterback situation. And as much as we'd like to think that these student athletes are protected from what we say on social media or on YouTube, they see it. They see it, and it can have a lasting impact as well. You know, some of those public opinions, as it would in a political office, it puts pressure on the coaching staff. You know, we all, myself included, a lot of us were calling for Jalen Milroe's head at some point. There'll be a lot of people who say, well, I never did. And they did. I've got screenshots of a lot of people who, you know, were like, well, if you called out Jalen Milroe, you know, they were kind of giving you a hard time. And then come the Oklahoma game, they started to figure it out too. Like maybe he's not the best option. Well, that's great for me to have that thought. That's one thing, right? But for me to vocalize that thought on a social media platform in a form to where I'm bashing the kid because he is a kid, doesn't matter how much money he makes, he's still a kid. For me to do that, it kind of changes the dynamic of what I'm doing and what I'm saying. So Alabama fans can be brutal. Let's be honest. We're a wacky, crazy bunch. We're passionate, and our expectations are high. I will say, in our defense, those expectations are high because Nick Saban built them that way. His expectations were high, so Alabama fans matched his level of expectation, and so we expect, for lack of a better word, we expect Ty Simpson to come in and torch opposing defenses. Now, starting this season off, let's say Ty Simpson's the guy. He's the one that starts at FSU. We did a whole video on this, and I'll link it. But the thought process is because FSU was so bad last year that Alabama's going to go into Tallahassee and just destroy them. Now, I think Alabama will cover. We talked about this on our live last night. I think Alabama will cover pretty easily. But I think there's going to be a learning curve when they step onto the field. We saw this play out with the defense last year. I told you guys going into last season that I thought the defense was going to be a top 10 defense at some point, but it was going to take them a few games to kind of get their feet under them and establish themselves and understand what they're supposed to be doing. And that played out very well. It was around the Georgia game that they started to figure it out, and they almost crapped the bed because they weren't figuring it out quick enough. Now, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, you can kind of blame, even Tennessee, you can kind of blame that on the defense, but you can also blame it on the fact that the offense could not sustain anything and the defense was on the field the entire game. So I think that there will be a learning curve in Tallahassee, not to mention that Alabama's performances in Florida of years late haven't been exceptional. They haven't lost in the state of Florida, but they haven't looked like a national championship caliber team when they played in the state of Florida either. And they haven't done well with the humidity and the heat. Tallahassee in August, late August, early September is brutal. And you're talking about a kickoff at the hottest part of the day. Not just that, you're going into Doak Campbell Stadium. No matter how bad FSU was last season, that is a very tough environment to play in. Very tough environment to play in, especially when you've got, however many fans their stadium holds, FSU fans who are pissed off from 2 seasons ago that Alabama got the nod in the 14 playoff over their Seminoles. So I think that we just need to be easy because when Alabama takes the field, they're going to face a really good defense. Defensively, they're going to face an offense that but FSU's quarterback will give them some problems. With Gus Malzahn as that new offensive coordinator, they'll do some things similar to what Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt did. They'll try to exploit that. But in terms of the quarterback, I think that we have to give Ty Simpson room to grow into the position as the starter. Being a starting quarterback at Alabama is one thing. Actually doing the job and growing into the role is another. We can't expect him to come in and be Tua and just be this crazy accurate gunslinger right off the bat. But we've seen Ty do some really good things. I just think that Alabama fans need to temper their expectations going into the season on what they expect from him. I don't think the FSU game is going to highlight Simpson's arm and the wide receiving group. Based off of some commentary from Crane Company yesterday, I kind of agree with what they do. I think Alabama's going to give their offensive line a test and say, let's see who can win in the trench, and they're going to try to ground and pound one out there in Tallahassee. But when it comes to Ty Simpson, because a lot of people, I know some of you are in Austin Mack camp, some of you are in the Keelan Russell camp, but we're all in the Alabama camp together. And so whoever the starting quarterback is, we've got to rally around that guy and support him through the ups and downs. Austin Mack, if he's gonna play at some point in time, he's probably gonna throw an interception. Keelan Russell will definitely, if he was a starting quarterback, throw an interception. He's gonna be a true freshman, and so they're gonna make mistakes. They're gonna make mistakes in pivotal moments that could be the difference in a game. It's gonna happen. These are college athletes, and so we can't set our expectations so high to where when Simpson makes a mistake and doesn't meet our expectation, we tear him down. You know what I mean? Am I making sense? So just my thoughts. You don't have to listen to me. You probably should, but whatever. Do me a favor. If you like what we're doing here, please be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell before you leave today. If you do those things, we'll let Bill out of prison. For those of you who don't know what Bill is, watch our lives to catch up. They're all on our YouTube channel. Thanks for stopping by. You guys are the best. We absolutely love you. Say your prayers, read your Bibles, watch your hands, horns down, beat Auburn and LSU and Tennessee to roll Tide.